violent profession.
Yeah, that's hard to do. Okay.
Hi, my name is Natalie Williams, and today I want to talk to you about white collared shirts, plaid pants, khaki skirts. What do you think about when I say this? A lot of you might have thought private schools, you might have thought about a certain group of people, you might have thought about success, and that's what I want to talk to you today is about whether or not school uniforms are linked to success and should this policy be implemented in public schools. A lot of research has been done on this issue because there is a lot of evidence proving that uniforms help lower gang-related incidents, behavioral issues, and create a uniform learning environment. And isn't this what we send kids to school for? Isn't education important? So a lot of you right now are thinking that I'm crazy, especially if you went to public schools, because you always thought of your clothing as freedom, as a way to express yourself. And some of you might be understanding what I'm saying because you came from a private school background and you understood the importance of it. So, what's going on in public schools? There's a lot higher rate of dropout, there are a lot lower test scores, there's a lot more gang-related violence. And so, does this all relate directly to dressing? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that there is a correlation between having a uniform learning environment and children being able to focus better in schools. There are a lot of distractions, which is how you dress, what group you fit into because of the clothing that you wear, and there's bullying associated with that, and there's just a lot of negative things that can come out of simple things as the way you dress. And these issues will drastically decrease, or at least be influenced by creating a uniform environment. So, how do you deal with these issues of gang-related violence, low scores, dropout rates, without trying to change something? And dress code is an easy thing to implement and see how it benefits your school. Gouge says in his research it is desperately much more difficult to implement uniforms in high school and middle school, meaning that uniforms need to be implemented young. They need to be implemented in elementary school so that students don't grow up thinking that they're taking something away, but rather they're gaining something by having the freedom of expression in other ways versus clothing. It can be very beneficial to the learning environment of many students. So can you picture what it would look like if you had gone to a school with uniforms? Would it have been a better experience for you? What does it make you think about? Uniforms create that uniform environment that just gives that peace and that comfort that most kids need. They need a uniform environment. A lot of kids can succeed without it, but there's a lot that can't. A lot of people have a negative response to uniforms because they think it's a loss of freedom, but it actually is just a benefit. And when I asked the students in our class, a lot of people were negative in responding, but when people answered the questions and really thought about it, they said that they thought that it would minimize distractions and that it probably would have been beneficial, but it still would have felt like something negative, and that's why you have to start young. And there's not going to be a typical uniform. There's not a one uniform fits all. The uniform could fit the needs of the school that it's serving, but it can look different for different people. It doesn't always mean that it's going to be a white collar shirt. But do you see the difference if I put on this crazy shirt for the rest of the speech? I want you to think about, is it going to be harder to listen to me, or are you going to be distracted by the clothing that I'm wearing? Does this make a difference to you when you watch me? So in conclusion, a uniform policy should be implemented because it will increase academic success, it will help to lower gang-related violence, and just create a uniform learning environment. Public schools typically have a negative view of this, but it could be such a benefit and really help in a lot of ways. Research continues to be done, and it's proving that while it might not be the only factor, it is a factor linked to these issues, and it can be very beneficial. And so whether it's not extremely beneficial, whether or not the research has 100% completed this yet, aren't your children worth this? Like, aren't they worth the idea that this could be a benefit, that this could make a difference, that this could help them get somewhere that they couldn't go if they're distracted by clothing? And so I want to ask you to just talk to your school districts, ask them to start researching this at least, if not, start implementing policy, because public schools are lower, and while uniforms aren't everything, it could make a difference. thank you all for listening to my speech today.